How to do it. Let me show you how to do it. Hi guys, so again back to restoration of the V-Rod 2008, and what I'm doing today is cleaning up my engine. So in the last video you saw that I took out the water pump and everything, and the exhaust. Now I have put tape on the openings for the exhaust, so right here, I put tape over here. This all can be exposed completely fine. And what I'm doing today is cleaning up my engine and kind of washing it off. So the very first thing I did was remove the fuse from here. I think it's a 20 amp fuse. Make sure you remove that so your battery is not connected to the power. And you know, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and remove this as well. This is the power inverter, so let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Out. There you go. And then I can just remove this. So got this out of the way. And the next thing is to, just make sure everything is sealed up. Since I have my throttle body removed, I covered everything up really good, so don't have any water going in. The hole for the breather valve, that's also covered up, so everything is good. I covered up my ECU so the water don't get in. I don't plan on spraying anything over here. This is the fuel tank, but if you do, make sure everything is capped off and sealed up. And I think for the most part it's ready, so nothing else is open over here. This breather valve is already closed. This out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and spray in the engine bay all over and let it sit. I'll show you exactly where I'm spraying. So all that stuff, everything I'm going to spray down. Avoid the belt, I don't need to, but all that area. And then we're going to rinse it off so you can see the oil. And all that oil kind of came from that breather valve right from here. Oh, good thing I need to cover that as well so no water gets in. So I already covered this one, but that one needs to be done. So do a walk around, make sure everything is nice and sealed, and then we're gonna go ahead and use this engine cleaner. Okay, to clean my engine, I'm using Super Clean. This dissolves grease and super easy, super fast. So I've used this before, and this is great product. So highly recommend if you're cleaning up anything, you can brakes, grills, engines, and everything. The only tip is make sure the motorcycle is not hot. So don't ride it and try to clean this, because you definitely want the engine to be nice and dry before you apply this stuff. I personally would not recommend you spray it and then try it. I would recommend try a small area to make sure it works for you, for any chemical per se, not the specific one. But in my case, I'm going to be painting the whole thing anyways, the entire engine base, so I don't care about the finish mess up or anything like that. But that's it. I don't plan on cleaning up anything on the back. It's just the engine that I'm planning on cleaning. So I'm not going to spray on the radiator. I personally don't like spraying anything on the radiator because it's aluminum, so you don't want to mess anything up. But just the engine bay is good. So let's go ahead and spray this. Make sure you shake the can really well. I normally recommend shaking it for at least 30 seconds to a minute. So let me go ahead and do that. I do recommend getting some brushes ready. So I got the steel brush, I got the nylon brush, and a bigger brush in case I need to do anything else. So let's get to it. I already shook my can, and let's go ahead and start the spray process. Make sure everything is nice and sealed. I did seal that breather valve over there. I'm just checking up, make sure nothing else is open. And if you have a flashlight, I highly recommend get a flashlight and shine it in there so you have an idea, where you're spraying. Okay, very important that you get your gloves on because you're dealing with the spray. Get your safety glasses on and a flashlight. So you don't need a strong flashlight, whatever works for you. I'm just going to inspect everything, all the connectors, to make sure there's nothing loose. Even though I have the amp pulled out, not the amp, the fuse pulled out. So let's go ahead and start with the spray. Keep shaking it while you're doing it. It does have a smell to it, so if you have a mask, I recommend put it on. And this side is fairly clean. You can already see a lot of oil is just melting and dripping off. It's pretty good stuff. I think for the most part it's pretty good. So far looking very good. So I'm gonna go ahead and do some brushing. You can even use a steel brush if the engine bay is too dirty. I don't see a lot of built up. This is mainly for if you do have a lot of built up. I do have some built up inside here, so it'll be good to clean up. I also sometimes use this stuff to clean it up. I will be putting a new gasket, so that's why I'm really cleaning this stuff up. Brush works really good on this metal brush. Morning. Okay. Nice and clean. Okay, again, so now it all depends on how much grime you have on there and how much brushing you need to do, but just look out for spots, you know, if you see anything dirty that you can't reach, if you think it's might not be clean for your spec, then just use a brush, get in there, scrub it, and that's it. And for the most part, you know, it's going to be nice and clean. So then take your hose and you can start with mist so you don't go crazy. Once you have a better control of it, then you can increase the pressure, but I like to start with the mist so I'm not going crazy with the water flow. So just good enough for it to rinse everything off. And it's completely fine. If it's falling on the radiator, you can always rinse it off. Now once you do that, make sure you don't start your car, you don't start your bike right away. You need to let it cool down. Since I'm restoring my bike, I'm not planning on starting it anytime soon anyways. Plus I need to wait for the radiator kit, the water pump gas kit to arrive, so I'm not starting it anytime soon. So it's going to be sitting up and drying. We definitely want it to dry out. Guys, during this process, if you have any questions, feel free to jump in and just ask me, and I'll be glad to help you with whatever I can. And you can also use a shower, which is a little bit higher flow, once you have control over. You can see this came out really nice. I was not expecting it to be so clean, but it looks nice. I'm going to blacken out the top. My engine is already black, so I think overall the look is going to be amazing. And I'm going to blacken all this stuff out. So I'm going to rinse the radiator as well. The fans are sealed, so they're waterproof. I did spray at the bottom for the oil pan, so it's always a good idea. Okay, now let's go on the other side. And same thing, just rinse it off. Let's start with the mist. Start from top, because if you're going to start from the bottom, it's going to drip off anyway. So start from top and see what needs to be sprayed on. Some of the stuff on top, I would not recommend putting water in this area. You can wipe it off if you're really that nosy about cleaning everything out, but spray like this a little bit. Since I did have a lot of oil in this area, that's the only reason I did that. I'm probably going to spray a little bit more because I still feel some oil. I'm going to take some brush and scrub it. Okay. And that's it, guys. Once you rinse it off, that's pretty much it. Let it drip and wipe it off whatever you can, but just wait for it to drip everything. And that's pretty much it. It cleaned pretty good. So if you're looking for a cleaner, I think this is pretty good, not as harsh, and it's just suitable for the engine. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.